14, long absence, and we are back.
Dude, we've been busy. We've had a lot of shit to do.
Yeah, man. You know,
Hawaii, just so much shit to do.
Yeah, no, we have been. We apologize, but we're back on track, and we're gonna keep crushing these bad boys. And
well, not even that. It's been fucking throwing product out there like crazy.
New stuff's going really well.
The sale that just got over. So
yeah, happy Memorial Day, you know, everyone. That's
belated Memorial Day. Yeah.
Belated Memorial Day.
How was the Memorial Day sale? Was it good?
It was good. Yeah, I mean, we kind of just did it
the day before.
Like last
we were
minute,
like
just to thank people that are loyal supporters of the brand, and we always do shit like that to hook people up because I mean we get it. You know, you want always a deal, and then it's an incentive to buy, and you know, I mean, but that's why we do limited runs like on certain stuff. Like a lot of times we probably talked about this before. We tell people like, hey, like buy it now. It's full price, but we only have X amount of units. The second it sells out, it's like
it's so funny.
When are you guys making that again? We're like,
oh
we just had it on the site.
Like
and
I got a message, a hoodie, the Give 'em Hell hoodie. It's been a year.
Oh God, I love that hoodie, but it like sat for a while.
Yeah, it'd been a year, and someone met. Hey, are you guys gonna be like restocking that? It's like it's been on the website for a year.
Yeah.
And the minute like a size goes out of stock, are you gonna be restocking that anytime?
It's Murphy's Law, dude.
Fucking
it really is. It really is. That is such a concept. I hate Murphy, whoever that guy was. Fuck him.
Tell
Fuck
people
you,
what's Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law is when you basically need something, you have something available to you for like the longest period of time, and then when you finally need it, it disappears or it doesn't happen.
For sure.
So I've run into it like countless times. Like there's an item in stock. I was like, oh, I could have bought that anytime, and then I'm gonna buy it, and then it happens to sell that day.
I used to look at it as a negative, but I look at it as a true positive. I'm like, well, if it's sold out, then it kind of dictates, should we do it maybe again, or should we do it a different color? Should we just scrap it and move on and kind of create that? That's kind of the one thing I love is like we kind of do what we want, and it's like if we want to, you know, create things kind of limited, that's kind of our goal.
I just get a kick out of it.
It's a business model, yeah.
But it never fails.
It never fails.
Like the second it goes out, here, you guys gonna restock those?
It's Murphy's Law.
Dude,
it is a real thing.
Those, like we blasted it for like a week, like ladies crop tees.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing.
And it's like we're letting them know like these are coming out, and then it's like, are you guys gonna restock smalls? They flew off the shelf. And
yeah, that's what we've realized. Okay, this is probably the best way to do it instead of just being like, oh, hey, guess what? New T-shirt available today. We'll have everything ready to go for like a week to 2 weeks, and just
don't give them all the details, bro.
And just this is the date it's coming out, so it's not a big surprise. And everyone always comments, need. I'm gonna get that. And then the minute it goes on sale, it sells, and then like with the female crop tees, the small went like
and
that.
You can't tell because like sometimes mediums are like the first thing to sell, and you're like, why the fuck did mediums just sell out? But our smalls didn't move, and it ebbs and flows. So there's no real. We have logistics about like what numbers kind of go high or low, but it's a weird thing, man. But I always look at like, hey, at least they're buying this shit. I'd rather have it be sold out and you're out of it and creating a demand than being like, we're always fully stocked.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
So, yeah, we try to make it limited, man. We don't want everyone to have the brand. We don't want everyone to have that shirt design. It's like if they're digging it, you just got to be more on top of like following our, sign up for our newsletter. The newsletter will tell you well in advance, like, dude, we're dropping this. Here's a 15 hint, wink, wink, wink. If you're listening to this, if you sign up for the newsletter,
buy the stuff.
Yeah, you can get discounts heavily on shit all the time.
Well,
15 to 20%.
Yeah, I think people have this huge misconception, like, oh, there's always going to be endless amounts of sizes, and like, oh, if I go into a department store and there's that T-shirt,
even
that
they
want,
run
and
out
there's
of them.
50,
yeah,
there's 100 larges that you don't have to worry about it. It's like, no, what's the point?
I don't know. I think like it was interesting. People asked me a question. Someone asked me a while ago. They're like, if you could be in every store, like say like skate shop and shit, it seems cool at first, but then I'm like, I don't know if the brand. Well, we talked about this Sketchy Tank.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there probably listening know about this guy. He's an artist, and then he started a clothing brand, basically black tees, has like kind of goth but like tattooed resembled vibe. It's literally one color shirts.
That's his vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, and he signed a mega contract with Zoomies, and like last year you couldn't keep his shit on the shelf. Now fast forward this year, it's so oversaturated that like they can't give his shit away.
Yeah, so they have them like for like $10.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's a curse. I feel like limited. That's why Supreme crushes so well. Even though I hate Supreme shit, like they're mega rare. Like there's only these 2 shirts in existence, so that's why they charge $400 for a t-shirt.
And they sell out in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. But that's a whole nother thing. But
anyway. Shit, you think every goddamn department store we'd never sleep?
Yeah.
Never. Ed would be.
Yeah.
Ed would hate us. Yeah, he'd be on the press 24/7, fucking just pumping shit out.
Yeah, I think it's cool, but I don't know. I think it's all about supply demand to make things more unique, or at least that's what I like. If everyone's rocking it, I'm like, it's not that cool, you know. So it's gotta find that balance, teeter in the.
Well, yeah, that's the funny thing. Like, me and Cade were out this weekend.
Yeah.
And
what were you guys doing?
We were just hanging out.
Okay. So
and
you're not getting in any trouble?
No, of course not. But
international supermodel Cade wins is what you meant to say.
International supermodel.
Yeah, we get a whole bit on him now.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh.
But we're at one place where we grabbed food, and there was I shit you not, I counted 9 people wearing a NASA t-shirt.
NASA.
Like why? Like space NASA.
Maybe they all worked there.
Maybe they all worked for NASA,
like,
bro.
Gray shirt with the blue logo with NASA.
Yeah, that's pretty lame.
Like,
unless you work for NASA, that's pretty
lame. They probably work for NASA.
I would hope so.
Where you can go to a place and
when did that get popular?
9 people wearing the same exact shirt.
That's crazy, yeah.
It's just kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of want to start. Jeff, you just had a kind of big trip to Hawaii. Hawaii, and in this episode,
and don't be cut you off, but we had an order today
from Hawaii,
Honolulu. So shout out to the islands out there, man.
The ones that aren't exploding.
Yeah.
With all the lava and stuff. Yeah.
Bad, man.
That stuff is crazy.
Yeah. What's the question? Sorry, I didn't mean to
No, the question. I just kind of want to, because I think that's a good way to, kick off this episode. This episode is all about kind of looking at yourself in the mirror, taking an honest look, making small adjustments to help, just keep you functional and keep you getting better every day. And I kind of want you to tell everyone about your trip, because you and I had a conversation that was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic trip. Hawaii's awesome.
Favorite vacation spot?
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, I would say I'm a decent traveler. I wouldn't say I'm like this, like,
Mikey B status.
Yeah, I'm not Mikey B status, but I don't have that, that frequent flyer card. But I try to be open-minded to shit. I definitely want to hit Europe in 2018. Did the standard vacation stuff, Florida, Mexico, all that. I've toured in the band statewide and in Canada. And so my big thing is Europe, but Hawaii is a whole different animal. It's fun, man. And thinking it's a state, it's pretty cool. Where you have like your normal day-to-day stuff. Just living out there is totally different. It's more chill, a lot more active.
You went hiking every day.
Hiking, dude. I think I lost 7 or 8 pounds on the trip.
Makes sense.
Just by doing these crazy hikes, a lot of cardio. It was really fun. And yeah, I think a lot of times too, from going on the trip, just like putting the phone down and like really enjoying small shit, is what I admit I had the blinders on for me, where not focusing on not only my personal stuff and my personal life, but business, just too focused on work. It's like, dude, you can pump the brakes for like an hour here, go enjoy this hike, enjoy some sights. And I mean, these sights are epic, dude. Like, if you go to Hawaii, you're like, holy shit. Like, I started in a suburban neighborhood and climbed a legitimate mountain, basically.
Yeah.
As my cardio in the morning, came down, and then I'm like by this guy's house in the burbs, It's like...
It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you can't get anything like that here. So just experiencing stuff like that, appreciating nature, because, man, the world's incredible. There's got to be... some type of higher power being, because like you see some of these trees and like the water, you're like, this is crazy, like that this is made, you know what I mean? Like, so you kind of reflect and, I guess had an epiphany, but came home and just kind of realized like, hey, I need to like change a lot of stuff in my not only personal life, but just my
business
outlook.
too. Yeah,
business wise, because you get caught up in the business, and then when you trickle business into bringing it back home, your personal life starts to deteriorate, and also friends as well. You know, just be more engaging with people. Also being like how to take the brand and what we're doing here to another level of how can we, besides creating good quality product for people to wear and feel confident, how can we take, you know, potential, if it's money that the company's made, and give that back to the community? You know, really diving into certain things I want to start doing, if it's, you know, this organization or partnering with this company, so then we can start doing that. It's like, just quit giving a shit about myself and start focusing on others. And I think that it's kind of, when you start doing that, you get everything and more you want in return, you know?
So when you said you had the blinders on, you're kind of taking it now like a less is more approach in a sense?
In a way, yeah. I think a lot of times too, you think like if you put your foot full bore on the gas pedal and just like go, you start to lose sight of certain things.
Right.
You know, like work is always going to be there. Like money ebbs and flows, right? But some of the things I was stressing out or not focusing on, I'm like, I have no control of that. So why am I stressing over that? You know what I mean? Can't really give a specific example, but I think most or a lot of people get caught up in this, and then they don't realize it till like it's, you know, gone too far, or, you know, they just start getting in, like, you have these blinders. It's like, go to work, you wake up, go to bed, eat, go to work, wake up, go to bed. It's like there's more to life than that shit, you know? So I think just taking a few steps back to be more productive, like, not saying I'm better than anyone, nothing wrong with movies and Netflix, because I love cinematic adventures, as I call them. But, you know, you go just start reading, you know, getting my knowledge base up, because, I mean, when you think you're done working, that's it. And, or like you don't have more room for change, you know, that's when I feel the blinders are really on. So I was stuck in that mode, you know, just come in, work, do my thing, go home, that's it. And it's kind of like,
what about those people, because we said, I think it was like an episode or 2 episodes ago, trying to get out of a rut, and that those people need to work harder. So how do they balance that with what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I guess call it kind of a rut for me, you know, in a way where like things are working, but they're not. You know, my personal life's taken a massive dive, and, you know, I don't want to go into details on that, but, you know, it's focusing on things that matter, you know, and I feel that's from the trip was great, but I also need to enjoy things even back home, you know, even if it's on a work day, you know, be productive, get the things and execute the things you need to get done. But my stress is like way less, because I'd stress out about stupid shit, like if a vendor fucks something up, like motherfucker, and just lose my shit.
Yeah,
it's like if I ask for 38 larges and you give me 25 and some change on some smalls, that's not 38 larges that I asked for. Like, what the fuck? And then it holds out production, and then there's a process, right, for making clothes. I just don't give a shit, because that's out of my control, right? The one thing I do is when the product shows up, call the vendor, be like, hey, you screwed up, can you send me the new stuff? And then everything gets bumped back, what, a day or two, right? No big deal. It's like, but you have that plan, and it's not, but it's out of your control. So I've learned from Chris, who is not my therapist, but love him to death. He is a marriage and family therapist, the guitar player in my band.
He's a stud.
Yeah, he's very good about saying you can only control what you can control. Like, you can't, like that vendor that fucked up, make them aware of it and hope they fix their wrong, and that's it. That's all you can do. And so, like, if you think about that with everything you do, personal work, in whatever, you just go, wow, I just took a shitload of stress out of my life.
But what about the people who are trying to, you know, that you said they have a 9-to-5, they have a family, and they're trying to start their own business.
Right.
That's a shitload of stress. And how do they have to do that? They have to get up, and someone, it might have been either you or Alec, was saying that they needed to, you know, like sometimes you have to sacrifice family time in order to do those things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I've sacrificed a ton.
Right.
And, you know, I still do, but I think the point of like being around and why you're doing things is there is no perfect balance, but you try to create balance is what you're trying to do. And it's always a work in progress every single day. I think people try to go like, I sacrificed this, now I deserve this, and I've worked this hard, so now I'm just going to coast. And that's not the mentality I have anymore. And not saying I was coasting, but you go on autopilot. You've heard people say that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I've just been going on autopilot. Same with, any type of relationship. A lot of times people do that. Oh, I'm on autopilot. And they don't realize until they get something that kind of, like, shakes them or changes the game. You're like, oh, shit. And then you start figuring it out. So, like, for someone that's in a 9-to-5, it's like, well...
and they're trying to start their own company after.
Look at the positive side of, like, you have that opportunity. So, like, the bonus of that is, like, you're going to have to, like, buckle down here. And if it's a financial thing, save X amount of dollars to then jump ship and be comfortable because you do have a wife or a kid or something, then do that. But there's always going to be risk involved. So, again... you can only control what you can control. Know that no matter what move you make, that's going to apply risk. So if you can't hack that and don't want to deal with potential failure, you're going to be one of those what ifs. I wonder what would have happened, So if you're willing to live that down... so
it's kind of like eat the startup cost of stress in order to get things moving.
Yeah, but I think when I started, it was the same thing. Started this, there was tons of risk.
I've heard this a lot, like work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I'm kind of curious what you guys think about that, because, I think there is a period where you do have to really push to make something happen and get it off the ground.
Right.
But then once you do, it can be counterproductive to just, like, go all in on that one thing and, like you said, have the blinders on and just keep hammering it. Sometimes then you do need to take a step back, and in a way that's a reward itself, like focusing on other things.
I think to create any type of success is just do something towards what you want. Like, if it's in reference to, like, the clothing brand and what we're creating is, like, now we've talked about ways of expansion.
Yeah, and they're gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah, like new stuff to, like, make it exciting for us and the people that are involved in the brand and where you're going with it,
Right.
So you just always have to kind of keep, now what do you want to do? Now what do you want to do? It's always, because that's what keeps it fun, though. Because if it was just like, oh, let's print more shirts today, it's like, okay, that gets boring after a while. Even though that's your staple go-to of what you do, how do we make it exciting with not only, what we do on social media, but, like, who we work with, collaborations. Like, working with David Brule right now has been fucking amazing because he's a super talented tattoo artist, has a good following. He supported us. A lot of people know about the background, but it just makes sense to have this guy as part of the brand and helping out. And his designs are crushing. Like, they're so sick. Some of the best stuff we've done. And I love that. I love bringing all different walks of life to be involved in one thing or a brand. So, yeah, man, it's part of the thing of just, you have to keep it exciting. But if you truly, like, don't like your 9-to-5, I don't know, to me that's motivating, like, to get out of it.
It is, and it's it's all about taking a look in the mirror and doing the small steps. How do you find balance with, maybe spending time with, like you said, your family and friends, but, you have a 9-to-5, and then you're trying to do a startup cost. Kind of like depends what you're trying to do.
We had I think, like, the day before you came home, we had, like, a 2-hour-long conversation.
That wasn't with me. No.
Yeah. About, I think time management is so crucial.
Yeah.
Instead of, we're leaving here at 12 in the morning, like, and we've been here for 8, 9, 10 hours. It's like, okay, what did we do in those 10 hours?
Right.
That's a good question.
So, getting everything that we need to done in a good amount of time. So, you get it done. Hey, it's 5, 6 o'clock, whatever. You have X amount of time now to do whatever it is you want to do.
Right.
Either if that's, work out or whatever, spend time with your significant other, whatever it may be. That's huge, is to not just waste your time where it's like you're working, but you're really not.
Which is like what a lot of 9-to-5 companies do, and that's bad. I have been through that, through various things. Back when I was doing some advertising stuff for a company, like, we would seriously spend the entire day playing ping pong.
Rough life, dude.
Because, clients, they ebb and flows, but other times we're working, like, freaking 18 hours a day. So
it definitely it has a balance, but you're like, oh, okay, I just spent 10 hours here.
Yeah.
How much of that 10 hours did we actually do something productive?
Yeah.
So then you're like, shit, well, I just spent 10 hours here. what did we do? Was it worth it? Now we kind of get in the process of like,
it's a learning thing,
yeah, for sure. But also we talked about like doing things for other people.
Right.
Man.
And that's such a important thing, is doing things that they'll benefit yourself, but they benefit other people, and giving your time to other people as well, not making yourself the main priority, doing things that are going to benefit other people.
It's a good feeling, though.
Yeah,
you know, that's such a great feeling to give back. And I mean,
that could be an episode idea, giving back. Maybe we should do one on that.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
Let's do it. Write it down.
I will.
You got a computer right there.
Oh, I will. I'll write it down.
Yeah, I think anyway, I think that's super important. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like, at the end of the day, it's a business. You got to make money. I mean, that's what keeps the lights on. That keeps us doing this.
Sorry, I would not to interrupt you, but I would seriously argue kind of back what Alec was saying about time management, because that is important. That is huge, taking a look at the mirror and adjusting. I would argue a lot of people like who are self-employed get a lot more done in even like 2 hours than a lot of people in companies do in 8.
For sure.
Like a quarter of the time, just because they're smarter with their time. As an independent business owner, you probably can validate
the last
that.
2 hours was that I just had before I came in here was, I think I did like 9-10 different things.
Think about the productivity, though. It's like in a day, you've accomplished what a lot of 9-to-5ers do in a week.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because I think why that is, though, is they're in there like milking the clock. Like I feel you're doing like what you like to do or enjoy doing. We don't look at the clock. We go, oh shit, where did the day go? That's more like our reaction at the warehouse here.
Well, it's just like, people who are, playing video games all day. They love what they're doing. They look up, it's like, oh, what the fuck? It's like 4 a.m. Oh, Same thing when you're doing what you're passionate about.
Just that rabbit hole.
It is, yeah. And same thing with Netflix. I mean, or even reading. Yeah.
I think
I'm excited.
Yeah. I think a huge thing about it is it all depends on you, how much effort you put in to make as much money as you can, because if we don't do it, it doesn't happen. When you're in a salary-based job, you just punch the clock. It doesn't matter if you do 100 things or if you do one thing, you're going to get that check. So what's your motivation to do anything?
It's a lot harder to find it, I would think. It kind of depends on what company you're working for, but I've got a lot of friends who, they're independent, how hard they work, and they choose their hours. That kind of determines their income and what clients they get. And that is way more. If you win this client, you get $5,000 more a year. I'm going to try a lot harder to win that client rather than if I'm just getting a paycheck.
Yeah. I think that's that whole concept of salary-based pay, unless you're like making fuck you money, is kind of like, it doesn't make sense, because what's the incentive to do more? And you're like, oh, well, I'm making this much, so if I show up, I'm making this much. If I put effort in, I'm making this much. So what's the point?
Well, the point is for a lot of people is to not get fired, which is the wrong mentality. It's like, oh, I need to keep this job afloat to live this lifestyle.
I've worked so many different places where people are just exactly that, posting like, what can we fucking get away with?
What can I do to basically not get canned so I can keep this paycheck rolling? And
it shows with customer service too. They don't give a fuck.
I think where there's a huge flaw is every human needs growth and change, if that's in a positive or a negative way. So if you go into a job or a career where you're like a zombie, which there's a lot of those jobs out there, not saying everyone needs to own their own business, because a lot of people that own their own business should not be owning their own business and so on. But I don't think that the method of quality over long period of time is going to be there when you get employees that are salary-based pay and they've been with a company for 10-15 years. Over time, that person's going to either jump ship, figure out your methods, move on to something else, because they want change. We want to be stimulated. We want either excitement or something going on in our lives, So, yeah, it's just, to me, it's a very, I used to work that world, and now the reason I basically am now doing my own thing, it's very stressful.
I hated the 9-to-5 stuff.
I hated the 9-to-5. It didn't work for me because, like you said, I do more production in 2 hours than most of the trainers would do on staff the entire month, and the numbers I was generating was tripling 5.
You're talking when you were at Lifetime.
Yeah, back in the day at corporate Lifetime, and running 15, 14 trainers under you, and they didn't have the same work ethic as me. It's like, I can't instill that in them. I can inspire and motivate people and be a positive force in their life, but if Timmy over there could give 2 shits to be here, me being Mr. Motivated isn't going to change his mindset. So I just kind of...
No, and that's, I mean, maybe that's part of like what we're talking about, taking a look in the mirror, is if you manage a team or if what other people in your work are doing is like directly affecting you, your time, and your pay.
Yeah.
That's a good wake-up call too.
Yeah, man. I think it's, we just have to keep ourselves on our toes, you know? I mean, with like a lot of the books I'm reading right now, it's helping. Like mental strength equals physical strength, you know? And so I just feel like I was getting in the fucking, I'm always on my fucking phone watching fucking Netflix. Like, dude, this is so dead end. Like, I want to get something out of what I'm absorbing. And so when I open one of these new books now and I crush maybe, if it's only a chapter or two, the knowledge I got from that, I feel like I did something worth my time there. Instead of just binge watching what the fuck ever is on Netflix.
Now, there's a time and a place for that.
For sure.
But we're talking about,
totally.
like, people, a lot of them take it out of, like, what did you guys do this weekend? Or, you know, I just crushed, like, 3 seasons.
Yeah, like, or, like, it's like, you know, even when you're engaging with people, you know, I know now how to monitor and view, like, I did a post for work for the brand or something happened, I can film that, that's cool, but put your fucking phone away and engage in the people that you're with and just really be on point with that, be present in the moment, enjoy it, and then go back to the phone when you need to. Someone says something, respond to them, whatever, make it like a minute to 2 and then be done. You know, not this whole, I stop fucking scrolling, I stop giving a fuck what other people post, I just don't care. And I actually like thought about how that example right there, how much waste of time that is in your life. It's insane. Like when people do this, you'll see it out in public. Like go to line at Chipotle, watch the people sitting there, and they're doing this.
Go to a restaurant.
Yeah, well,
watch the people
when, like,
sitting there.
couples
Yeah.
are like not even paying attention to their kids, and they're
or each other, and they're scrolling.
It's like,
yeah.
What are you looking for?
They're not having interactions.
Like,
yeah.
And then you look at them, and they're looking bored at scrolling because there's nothing good. It's like, dude, this is a bad...
No, I'm guilty of it. How many times have you opened your phone with the idea you were going to do one thing or just check to see if you missed a text message or something, and you end up checking all your social feeds? I'm very guilty of it.
I have friends and no one texts me, so
yeah,
it's all good.
You probably don't, but I'm pretty guilty of that.
I mean, maybe, but I stopped.
And it's like, I'm actively trying to stop doing that.
I'm the worst when I'm on the toilet. I find my legs getting numb because I just realized that I've been sitting there for like 35 minutes, just bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of go into attend, like, if I have a good post or something to put out there, cool. Besides that, though, I don't, unless it's like certain things I specifically like if it's a band or something, or a brand, I want to buy something, I'll dive into their page quick and see what's going on, especially music, because music, there's always new shit coming out every Friday, and I'm a huge music junkie, so I look at more of that
You're
stuff.
a nerd.
Totally. Or I really am diving into like different fitness stuff. Just it keeps me inspired on my own. You know, I've been training since I was 15, and it's like, not that I don't know what I'm doing, but I always like the new book that Chris and Cade recommended by Aubrey Marcus is like,
I kind of
blowing my fucking mind right now, and I'm like 3 chapters in, and I'm like,
dude, why didn't I
think of this?
That's what I've been. When I wake up, I don't drink caffeine for 2 hours, and I just chug a bunch of water.
Yeah, and he said put like salt and lemon in it because then that, you know, helps hydrate you, and it's like...
What book is this? Let's tell the people, because I wanted to ask you what you have been reading.
Yeah, it's by Aubrey Marcus, so he's the CEO of On It, which, if people follow Joe Rogan, it's called Own the Day, Own Your Life. So, really good read so far. So yeah, Own the Day, Own Your Life, so if people are on YouTube watching this. Optimizing practices for waking, working, learning, eating, training, playing, sleeping, and sex. So he just talks about not just fitness related stuff, but how you know, your life, how to own your day, like to live the best 24 hours.
Health, love, and wealth. It's the triangle. You need all 3 of those going to be happy.
Yeah, and like I've really been personally, for me too, focusing on my food a ton, and it's like, dude, I know this shit, but then it's also, you got to get back on to, like, do it. And so when I've been really, since the trip to now, I've been really diving into my water consumption, limit my caffeine to X amount, eating, you know, the proper foods, instantly abs popped out. I dropped 7-8 pounds, look awesome, feel great. So I'm like, just, you know, keeping that going. Really, like, yeah, it's expensive to live healthy, but You know, if I got to go do a juice cleanse or this or that, and it's $50-some, it's your nutrition. You know, it's your body. So
well, $50-some is like how much food did you just spend on that burger down the street?
Adidas shoes that were $100, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
and when it comes time to money, we talked about this. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow.
That would suck. That wouldn't be fun.
You're fucking dead. And then you got money sitting in the bank. Well, you could have spent it on something good for yourself.
Yeah, not saying like blow all your cash.
Yeah, no. But don't.
I think it's like reward yourself every now and then.
Yeah.
It's like, don't. I know people like that who are they're so afraid to spend anything, and they put it all into savings, and they live like well below what they have in like the bank, and it's like I respect that if that's what you want to do, but I agree like you should reward yourself. That doesn't mean go buy a mansion, right? That means just like treat yourself every now and then.
Buy a pair of shoes, call it a day. Get some new tattoos. I mean, my tattoos are extremely expensive, and it's like
treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Parks and Recreation.
But also
great show.
I think it's so goddamn important to take a break. Take a break.
Yeah.
And because when we were talking about when you get into that autopilot mode, and it doesn't matter if you love what you're doing, you get complacent because you work, and then you take some time off, do nothing. There's an art in doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then
that's a good book, man.
Yeah,
The Art of Doing Nothing. Boom.
And then
we got it.
You just jump back into it, and you have that motivation again because you took time off, you relaxed, maybe caught up on some rest you needed, and then you just get that motivation back. And I'm really excited because I get to leave Sunday for a week.
Where are you going?
Just California.
Oh, just California. That's not an awesome
I
state.
think what the main goal is to make sure when these incidences happen. Incidents happen.
That's a new thing on the show. We have to call each other out.
Yeah, I can't speak right now.
I've been working on my speech impediment thing.
Especially. It's all good, bro. Still love you.
We all do it.
So the main thing is I feel like when those issues happen, to recognize them and then also do something about it. Not just go, oh shit, like I'm back in the rut again. And that's what I think that's like, for me, is kind of, you just keep the ball rolling, but learn how to enjoy the ride, and like, I feel that I openly admit I'm way too hard on myself.
I like that quote. Keep the ball rolling, but learn how to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I think
we need to put that into the description.
No, I definitely did not create that myself.
You didn't create that? That would have been...
Well, I mean, I've heard, like,
that was quotable.
Enjoy the ride,
Yeah.
Life's a climb, but the view's great.
Ah.
Hashtag Hannah Montana.
Oh, there you go. Dude.
I take it all back. Anyway.
So, I mean, I need to enjoy that process. And, like... little things, man, not to get, like, super, like, in-depth or, like, this, forward fucking thinker now. I'm just thinking, like, hey, enjoy, be thankful for what you got. We're doing this podcast right now. We want to bring value to people. They want to get to know us possibly on a personal level. Cool. That's awesome. Like,
that's why we do this.
Like, like, dude, if there's 5 people that tune in or 500 or 5,000, I'm stoked that, like, if it's 5... those people took the time out of their day.
And they give a shit.
And they give a shit. And, like, coming with training, too. Like, trust me, there's nothing harder than training people. And then people are like, hey, man, do you want to work out in the gym? I'm like, nah, I've been here for, like, 5-6 hours. I'm good. But getting that motivation, they can train with anyone in the cities. They train with you. They could wear any clothing brand. People buy Iron Inning Fitness. Like, really taking 5 steps back, looking at the big picture and be like, this is great. This is fantastic. Can't complain. Now we just got to work harder in a positive way. But yeah, efficiency with time.
It is statistically proven. I think it's 3 vacations a year, and these don't have to be.
Okay with that.
These don't have to be, trips out of the country.
Right,
these can be. We're talking like you could drive, an hour away from your house and just spend the weekend somewhere, like that kind of thing.
For sure.
But for mental health, and because like we're huge proponents of mental health on this show, it's like that is good to give yourself that break.
That's why the Europeans, they got that shit on lockdown. They take a holiday.
No, Frank,
like a month.
Fuck. God, where was I reading this? Like, this might have been a while ago, but I'm pretty sure, like, people working in, like, Paris, France, have, like, 2-hour lunch breaks.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, and that's just, like, a scheduled part of their day because it's, like, they're so social over there.
Well, we are the
I think,
fastest living people And anytime you speak
we work.
to...
We are expected to work.
I've had a conversation multiple times with, people that live over in, like, Europe and everything, and they're like, you Americans work too much.
Yeah. I've heard that a lot. I heard that when I was in Denmark living there.
They're like, you work too much.
Yeah.
And you think about it, and you're like, for what? Like, these people take months... like a month off, and they just I mean, it's a different world and everything, but you think about it, they're statistically proven to have less suicide.
Yeah, and look how much healthier they are.
Yeah, healthier. Yeah.
I mean, I think clearly what we're doing,
they're still productive. They do
all
cool
of
shit.
This correlates with mental health and physical health, where if you work people into the ground and you want better production, but then you're not taking care of the people mentally, which leads to physically, you're not going to get that production. You're not going to get that output in work. So there's a balance of, even as an employer, to be like, hey, we need to be more productive on our time, but work less, less hours. So,
if I was running a whole 40 hours a week, I understand that. I really don't know who thought of that originally. Mm-hmm. But I would tell my employees,
it's like 3 meals a day, dude. Who the fuck?
Yeah, who said 3 meals a day? And how many people follow that?
Why is 40 hours? What if I want to work 35 and I can outwork the shit out of you in 30?
Exactly. I would seriously tell people, if I owned a company, I would be like, hey, you come in for 30 hours a week. I will give you 10 hours less than another company. Yeah. I will give you the same pay. Be fucking productive. My company would probably get a lot more shit done.
Yeah, I mean, it's common sense shit.
Right? That's an extra day off a week. But
at the end of the day, I don't think people care. They should care more about the tasks at hand.
Yeah.
And the quality of being completed instead of how much we can complete in a certain amount of time. Because it
depends on the industry, but honestly, I really do. I think if people were I think if they have a lot less time or just less time and more time to enjoy themselves, they're going to work harder when they're actually working and not spend that time wishing they weren't there doing something else.
Dude, that's the worst. I mean, you're clearly at a disconnect. But, I mean, it's both parties' responsibility, right? So if you're the person that hates your job, well...
It is, and that's what we were talking about earlier in the episode. There is an initial, payment. An initial sacrifice you have to make. You have to work harder. If you got a family, if you have a 9-to-5, if you're trying to start a career, you are going to have to slog through that. Mm-hmm. But there will come a point eventually where you're going to, if your blinders are on, it could become counterproductive, and you need to take a step back. But all the way along, just make sure you're at least getting enjoyment out of it. Because if you just hate yourself and you're all stressed all the time, that's going to show, and that's not good for anyone.
Yeah, I think if we can somehow be more productive with less time, I feel health mentally and physically across
time management,
the board, time management, people would be so much better off. There's more connectivity when you go to this, you go to a lunch meeting or you go to lunch. Hey, let's actually go to lunch. We're leaving our phones in the car, by the way. Holy shit, you have to have a conversation with this person?
Revolutionary.
We're getting back to that shit.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's a lost art to have a conversation.
Again, that's what 2 hour lunch breaks and they're not on their phones scrolling through all that shit. No, they're having conversations, making connections.
Exactly.
It's that's what you should be doing.
Because that's what lasts a lifetime, or it matters.
Yeah.
Work's always gonna be there.
There's another good quote from someone saying, "I worked so hard, I can't remember what I was doing when I missed the things, but I remember the things I missed, in their families, growing up." And that's powerful shit. They remember the concert they missed, but they don't remember what they did and know why they missed that.
Right.
So that, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, I think this is, I think the trip was needed, but I also don't want to live my life for trips. I feel that's another thing I've realized too, is that
it's the same thing for living for the weekend then, basically.
Yeah. It's that same vibe where no, it's Monday. I'm going to really do something fun after we're done, doing objectives for the day. And, if that's as simple as going for a walk, reading a book, whatever, going to get a good workout.
I love taking 30-minute walks with my dog. And I do it. It's great for him, obviously. It's great for me, too. It's just I don't have my phone. It's de-stressing.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic.
Stuff like that. Just working on things to get better, man, because... I'm guilty of it the second you put on autopilot. I wish we just had a shock collar or something in our system that because we're our worst enemy. I feel it's literally we played our own games in our own head, and then that kind of folds into our everyday living and what we do. We're our own worst enemy, and I feel I wish there was something that would trigger us and say hey, you got the blinders on, you're doing the same monotonous shit day in and day out.
Well, I really do think that's what this episode is about. Like, we're talking about when do you reach that trigger? Like, when is your productivity and time like not matching up?
Right.
It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, what's it for you? I mean, I think like when we're kind of like, I don't know. I feel we're better at time management. Get shit done. Get in. Get out. Not rushing it, but like. We don't need to be here for 50 hours a day, you know?
It's like the people at the gym who go there and they sit on the machine and they're on their phone more than they're lifting the weights. Like, I go there 45 minutes, like, bang out the session. That's productivity.
Yeah.
Get going.
Yeah, man. For sure. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah. For the longest time, I'd get home so goddamn late because I'd go work out after it. And I'm like, oh, shit. Well, I'm home at 10 o'clock now. So, but yeah, it's great to get shit done, feel that small victory, those small accomplishments done for the day, and then you're done. And you can do other things to add to that, social media posts, all that kind of stuff, but you're not...
It's not consuming
you're
life.
Not trapped in what you're doing. I feel like the thing I get most complacent in life is working out. And that's where I'm at right now.
Oh, like your workouts suck?
Yeah, they fucking suck. That's been me for like 2 months because I hate.
Do you need a trainer, bro?
Because I hate
what?
the gym that I'm working out at.
Okay.
And it becomes one of those things where you go and it's like Groundhog's Day. You see the same people. You're doing the same shit. You know that Bob over there is going to do that really fucked up bicep curl that looks more like a low back curl.
That will later be on gymfuckery.com.
Yeah. God, great site.
So I'm looking into moving to a different gym.
Totally.
Get a different atmosphere.
Yeah, there's one called Planet Fitness, and I heard
they have pizza there,
they have pizza Mondays, donut Tuesdays.
That's my type of gym.
That blows my mind.
Yeah. Guys, I was saying on the way here, the guys in Mind Pump, they were talking about that because they're very pro like weed guys, which is kind of cool because they're all for that. They're like, yeah, we drink a little bit occasionally, but they don't hide it, you know. But they were just like, you know what's fucked? And they were talking about Planet Fitness, and then they said what the boom in CrossFit gyms was the polar opposite. Like, stripped down warehouse gym, but you're paying $150 a month because it's unlimited workouts. That's
fucking stupid.
So it does the polar opposite. It's like making people lazy, lethargic. CrossFit's like all out community. Let's kick our ass to the core of our being. You know, so they were just talking about the pizza Mondays and shit. But yeah, it's a real thing, dude. That's totally the gym you should be at.
Yeah, but I'm trying not to be super unhealthy.
Dude, if it was Jets,
if it was Jets Pizza, yeah. Plus, I like the purple.
This pizza competition. You told me after your Hawaii trip.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm down. I just have to kind of get back into. I don't know.
Yeah, he's gonna gain those 8 pounds right back.
Easy,
for sure.
Easy,
for sure.
But yeah, I think getting complacent or like in your workouts, it's the same kind of thing.
It's the exact same thing.
Mix it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's just a change of atmosphere.
That's what I mean. Yeah, go somewhere else.
Huge.
Do something else.
Yeah. You know what was the big one for me was on the trip was going outside.
Yeah.
And doing like a cardio workout or like a body weight workout outside and kicking my ass.
I just want to
I didn't use any weights and I just got my ass handed to me and it felt really fucking good.
I want to do like prison style in a park.
Sweet.
Like at a jungle gym.
You live in Brooklyn Park. There's tons of parks over in Brooklyn Park.
Go. Yes, I want you to go to a jungle gym.
It's called Brooklyn Park.
No, I want you to go to the jungle gym by your house so that like the happy little kids and their families.
There's one in my backyard.
Fucking tear it up.
So you have no excuse right now.
Yeah.
I actually thinking of this setup. I don't know if it would be a very good one.
Well, you got to be creative. That's where you hire a trainer.
Yeah. I'll hire myself.
I feel like there's
I'll pay myself.
Something happening here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, man. Like a change of environment's cool. But also you got to do it, like I said, it's as simple as like I would go for a walk in the morning. It like starts my day a little bit better.
This is the end of my second week doing it, and like, wow, it's really changed it up.
Yeah.
I've started doing fasted weight training. I've been against that my entire life. I was like,
it's a
what
hard
the
one
hell?
To handle. I'm down for it as long as you do it early.
I do though. I wake up, drink the water, like get sunlight, take some pre-workout, go to the gym, and like I've seriously had probably the best lifts I've had in the past couple of years, these past 2 weeks, and I don't know why.
You're changing up what you've
It's just done. I guess it just really is just changing up, and then I'm really hungry after I eat, and obviously that's great, but I don't know.
You're pretty regimen on your shit, which is cool. It's exciting for me because most people aren't. They just don't care. Yeah. But I mean, that's the same thing, right? It's like, I think our brain is wired to, like, we need change. And I'm not saying that in a relationship or anything like that, but just like things, like stimulus. Like, you work out a certain way. I'm just more like, now for me personally, I'm very open-minded to shit. Like, if someone's like, hey man, you want to do this crazy workout? I'll be like, fuck it, let's do it. Like, not so resistant to stuff. I've always kind of been pretty open-minded, but actually, like, focusing on my personal wealth to then give the best me to not only my friends, but family, coworkers, and the people that surround me, because I want to give the best version that I can be to people, and then go from there.
Well, you have to. You have to. You can't.
You don't have to, because you could be a piece of shit.
Well, yeah. I'm saying if you want to,
right.
It's a must to take care of yourself before you can take care of someone else.
Sure.
I would strongly agree with that.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, or do them at the same time, where you're working.
If you have a kid, that's a little different. But it's like, you really have to take care of yourself and have your own shit handled before you're able to really help other people.
And I do feel, just like fitness and anything, there's never this end point. And I feel that when you're working at something, if it's a job, a position, trying to get the highest score on something, whatever, everyone wants that next thing. So if you look at the word work, and I kind of rewired my brain by reading these books, was like, fat and carbs usually have a negative, vibe when you say those, right? It's the same thing with work. People are like, oh, it's a lot of work. They always roll their eyes and shit. Oh, it's hard to do. It's like, but if you look at it like the work is actually a good thing, and when you put in the work, you're getting what you want, if that's in a relationship or work or whatever, you're going to realize that the work is worth it.
Yeah.
And now those things are falling into place. It's like, why is that? Well, I worked and focused on it, and now things are better. Not only when I go home personally, but when I come into the office or whatever you're doing.
Yep.
Or even like creating music, or whatever your hobbies are, everything gets lifted, because I feel we get in this stagnant position, and this is everybody, and then we just kind of go, oh fuck, or we just stay in this lull and we just kind of hover, and there's so much other shit we can do, and we just don't. And people do it for years. Some people never get out of it. Some people get out of it and they get back into it.
That's how it's been for me. For the longest time, I'd say the last 2 years, I'm really focusing on myself. Mm-hmm. Whether it was with my sobriety and everything, and then I don't know. One day I'm like, okay, so how much work am I actually putting into myself? I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
And I realize I need an outside source. So I've actually been seeing a therapist for the past 5 weeks, where I know that I'm going to see someone to help me. So instead of just saying that I'm working on myself, I'm working on these. How are you actually doing it? You can tell yourself you are. Okay, I'm working on myself, but how are you actually making positive change? And now that I'm working with someone, I actually know, like, hey, I'm taking things in the right step to actually make a change, and I fucking love it, because I have this outside source and it's the first time I've actually done therapy where I'm like, I want to be here. I'm not forced to be here. And now that I am, that's a huge difference. I throw all my shit out at someone who doesn't know me, and I get positive things to work on, where I have, every single time we meet, he's like, try doing this, try blah, 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 whatever it may be. And so that now that I actually know I'm doing things to actually progress as a human being, because I'm not doing it alone anymore. And I'm not just thinking I'm making progress. I actually know that I am, because I'm working towards something with another person. Mm-hmm. And it feels fucking awesome.
I think for me, I think my big thing is I'm doing lists. I'm a big list person. So I write down objectives or things I need to work on. And then when I make sure I notice I'm doing it, consistently, then I kind of mark it off my list,
It's a good way to keep track too.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of old school mentality, but I don't know, I'm kind of an old school guy, where it's like, then you're holding something that holds you accountable, because when you get kind of back in your day-to-day routine, I hate that word, but then you start, am I actually progressing?
Yeah.
Am I actually seeing change? And mark that stuff down. It's just like writing down your food or a meal plan, or
it's a way to track it. Yeah.
you have to have some kind of tracking. And going to a therapist is awesome, but also what's the homework they're giving you, providing you, and then are you getting progression besides just showing up for sessions? You know, are you getting somewhere with that? So
it's all about taking a look at yourself, and that's good stuff.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, for sure.
Well, that's I think that's all the time we got for this episode. Our battery's about to die, so
again,
it is. Yeah,
batteries.
Yeah, so we'll make sure that we'll keep the episodes going. If you guys ever want to hit us up, make sure to hit podcast@ironendingfitness.com. That's an email link that basically goes from, you know, just send us anything. Questions you have, topics you want to discuss, guests, appearances. I know we're going to have Ryan, a buddy of mine, that he basically runs a supplement review site, which is awesome. So I'm excited to pick his brain on the freaking supplement industry and what's going on there. So we'll have him on an episode soon. And then we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, hit us up. We'll keep the episodes rolling. Apologize for a little bit of hiatus, and
we're trying to get Dwayne The Rock Johnson to make an appearance.
So he'll get here someday.
Eventually,
Dwayne will be here. But
hey, Dwayne.
Yeah, make sure to hit us up, guys, and we appreciate you. And then hopefully, you know, you find value in this stuff, and please refer a friend, review. If you can, go to our iTunes page. It's Iron and Think is the podcast. Links are on the website, ironandfitness.com. So it's pretty easy to follow. If you follow any of our social media, Instagram, Twitter, or myself, Alec, or Collin, you know, you can basically get directed towards the podcast, the site, and everything. So
that's all out there, and we'll look forward to seeing all of you next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Have a good day.